This is TJ with TechmadeEZ. Welcome to the channel. My channel is all about making things affordable, practical, and easy. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be installing Linux Mint onto this HP Mini. Now, this HP Mini, these are great. I bought this about a year ago for $90. Now they're down to $50. So you can pick these up anywhere between $45, $65. Of course, you can pay more for them, but most of them will come with the RAM, the CPU. Some come with an SSD, some don't. This particular one, I don't think this one came with an SSD, but it came with 16 gigs of RAM. Most of them come with 8 gigs of RAM. And I'll leave some links down below if you're interested in doing something like this. Maybe you have a child. So this is basically for my daughter. She's 13 years old. She wanted something else to do her homework on other than her mini laptop that she gets from the school. So I've got her a nice little 32-inch monitor, and she really likes the interface to Linux Mint. And so she's excited about it. I already installed it on here, and then after I installed it, I'm going, oh, I need to just make a video of it. And now her demands are minimal. She does everything on the web, Google Docs on the web for school, so on and so forth. She would like a couple of draw programs, so I did put those on here as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go over her setup, then we're going to go ahead and install Linux Mint, and we're going to go through how we got to her setup. And so this is an in-depth dive of Linux Mint, but it will show you a little bit how to customize the desktop, so on and so forth. So let's get started. Okay, so here's my daughter's desktop. Now I know that this dragon might be in your face, but this is the background that she wanted. She's a How to Train Your Dragon fan, and so that's what she wanted for her background. It's very easy to customize the interface with Linux Mint. So I'm going to show you some of the things that she wanted to have on here, and then we'll go ahead and go through the install and how to set all this up. But one thing you're going to notice is that the toolbar is transparent. She likes the toolbar being transparent. Also, the icons are in the middle here. That's very easy to do. Normally they're on the left-hand side here. In fact, let's just click on to the menu here. This is the default Linux Mint menu. So we went ahead but Linux Mint comes with other default menus that you can use, and this is the one that she chose. And I actually like this one better too. This is the same one that I use. So we're going to show you how to go ahead and set all this stuff up. This icon here, you can apply an icon to your start menu. I just put a Windows icon there because she's kind of used to Windows. And then the file manager, I'm just going to click in here really quick, and you're going to notice the lavender purple color. That's the color that she wanted for icons. It's very easy to change the color on your icons, and it depends on the Linux distribution how easy that is, but it's very easy in Linux Mint. And so now one thing you're going to notice when I close this, she wanted that fire effect. When we open it, she wanted another effect, so that was an effect there. You'll notice it's got the wobbly windows, so she kind of likes all that stuff. And so I'm just going to show you how to modify that, how to add this background, just how to do some modifications to the desktop. So not only are we going to install this, but we're going to just show you how to modify the Linux desktop as well. It's very easy, very intuitive. It's just point and click, and we're done. Okay, so let's talk about apps for a minute. My daughter doesn't have a use for very many apps because mostly everything she does is on the internet. Google Docs for homework, so on and so forth, like I already mentioned. But she did want a couple of draw packages on there, so Inkscape's on there. I'm going to show you how to install packages with Linux Mint. Very easy, very, very easy. Now Linux Mint does come installed with an Office program, and I asked my daughter, do you need an Office app other than Google Docs? And she's like, huh? And because she's used Google Docs ever since she's been in school, and so Linux Mint does come with LibreOffice. But what I did do here is, just in case, I went ahead and put my favorite free Office on here, and it's called Free Office. And so I'm going to just click on this here. The reason why I use this one over LibreOffice, I just like the interface a little bit better. All of these free Office applications are compatible with Microsoft Office to a certain extent. I actually have a video on 6 free Microsoft compatible options that you can run on Windows, Mac, and Linux. But this is the one that I've finally settled on. It's called Free Office. I just like the interface. And the spreadsheet here is right here. And it has a presentation package, so on and so forth. Will she ever use that? I doubt it, but I just put it on there in case I'm on here and I want to use it or whatever the reason. So I did delete LibreOffice. It comes with Linux Mint, with the exception of their LibreDraw. So I uninstalled the rest. As far as graphics, as far as other applications go, Inkscape and a couple of draw packages, I showed her how to use the picture. If she wants to manipulate a picture, that Linux Mint comes with pics, and we'll go over that more after the install. So let's just go ahead and jump into the install. This is going to be very simple, but this video is going to be a little longer just because we're installing Linux Mint and then we're modifying, customizing it a little bit. So let's get started. Alright, so our next step is we're going to grab Linux Mint. So we're just going to go to their download website. Now they do have different versions of Linux Mint. The Cinnamon is their flagship. That's the one that you want. That's the one you can do a lot of customization. If you have a really old computer you're putting this on, and when I say old, maybe 20 years and not a very strong graphics card, you can do XFCE. It's a more efficient GUI interface, but for the most part, Linux Mint Cinnamon is what we're putting on. So you just hit download, and then you're going to go down below here, and they have several locations you can download this from. I always just do World Linux Mint. It's faster, and I've already downloaded it, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. So what we need next is we need a way to make a bootable USB. If you don't have a way to do that, you can download Rufus. Rufus is right here. Again, link below. Just go to the download part. You're going to want to download Rufus 4.7p. P just means it's portable. It doesn't need to be installed. And so you just download that. I've already downloaded that as well. So really quick here, let's just go ahead and go to Rufus. I always put it in a folder because it does add some files, even though it doesn't install. And you just go ahead and launch this. And I've already got a 64 gigabit USB drive in there. I'm going to go ahead and select my Linux Mint ISO, which is right here in the download. You can leave all these things the same, and then what you're going to do here is just going to get start, and it's going to recommend that you use that, yes. Then it's that everything's going to be wiped off of that disk, yes. And this will take 5 minutes or so. Depends on how fast your USB drive is. This one is a okay speed. I think it writes at 64 megabytes, but it reads at 400 megabytes. So as soon as this is done, then we'll install Linux Mint. Okay, so let's go ahead. It's done. We'll just go ahead and close this. We'll take our USB and we'll take it over to that mini PC and start installing. Okay, once you put the USB in the USB port, just turn it on. And you're going to want to hit F10 to get into the BIOS or the CMOS. We're just going to go in there. There's just a few things I'm going to show you. Okay, so we're in the BIOS here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Advanced. In Advanced here, you can go ahead and choose your boot options. Now, I have USB boot storage, so we can boot off the USB. And then these are your boot options. Now, the Samsung drive is my drive with the Linux Mint install disk. The reason why this M2 says Ubuntu, it's already installed on that. So we shouldn't have to change any of this stuff here. But I just wanted to show you this. But you will need to do USB boot store or USB storage boot in order to use boot off the USB. Now we're going to go here to secure boot. If you want to run secure boot, you can change that in here. I usually have it disabled, but you can enable it if you want. So, and I usually have legacy support enabled and secure disabled, but if you want, you can disable legacy support and click on secure boot. You'll have to go through that setup secure boot. But so then we can just go back here, save our changes, exit. So if there's anything you need to change in there, you can do that. And then we're going to hit F9 as it's rebooting. F9 is going to allow us to choose which drive to boot from, and obviously we want to boot from our USB drive. So we'll maybe just take a sec for that to pop up. Okay, so again, my Samsung flash drive, that's what we're installing from, so I'm going to go ahead and hit that there. And here's our Linux Mint. Now, what most Linux distributions allow you to do, they allow you to try it before you install it. So we're going to actually be sitting on the Linux Mint desktop, and we'll install it from there. All right, so now we've booted from the Linux Mint install disk, and again, you can try the desktop out here if you want, so on and so forth. But anything you do here, you can't save. Anything you do here, it won't save it the next time you boot. It just allows you to try it out. So let's go ahead. There's this icon at the top here, install Linux Mint. So let's click on it. So it's going to load up this install menu, and we're going to just choose our language. It's pretty simple to do this. To install, most Linux distributions install the same way. The interface might look a little different, but they're all pretty easy to install for the most part, not all of them. So we'll continue here with our keyboard, And I'm just going to continue here. I'm not going to hook up the Wi-Fi yet. Now you want to include media codes. Just hit continue. Now when these dialog boxes come up, it may take more than a few seconds for the dialog box to show up, especially when you first hit install. But you'll come to the screen here. If you have anything installed on the disk, I already have Linux Mint installed here, but we're going to install over it. It will ask you if you want to install next to it. So if you had Windows, if you had a disk with Windows on it, it would ask you, do you want to do a dual boot? I wouldn't recommend the dual boot. I mean, you can if you want, but I'm just going to install Linux Mint. I'm going to erase the disk and install and have a fresh install. I'm not going to be dual booting anything. So let's go ahead and hit this. And we'll just hit continue here. And I'm in the West, so Denver's my time zone. Now this one's for my daughter, so I'm just going to put her name in here. Her name is Joy. I'm just going to name the computer J HP Mini. And then for her password, for right now I'm just doing a really simple password, but you can change that later. But this is where you put your password in, obviously. Now if you want, when you turn on your computer, you can have it log in automatically, or you can have a password where you need to log in with password. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave this login with password, hit continue. And then from here, all you have to do is just wait for it to complete the install, then we'll reboot it. So this will take a few minutes, not as much time as Windows, but it'll take a few minutes to get the operating system installed and the apps that go along with the operating system. Okay, so now that the install is done, we're going to say restart now. And it's going to ask you to pull out the installation disk and hit enter, and then it's going to reboot into the operating system. All right, we put on our password. Now we're at our desktop. It'll bring you this welcome screen. I'm not going to go over this. You can view this yourself. It's just going to show you how to make changes to the desktop, colors and stuff like that. But we're going to be doing some of this in here anyway. So let's go ahead and close that. And then let's go ahead and start customizing the desktop. So what I want to show you here first is that Linux Mint is pretty low on resources, on how many resources it uses. I'm just going to type in sys here and the system monitor, similar to Windows as far as displaying your CPU uses, memory, network. And in our memory here, we're using about 1.5 gigabits. I am running something in the background. So a fresh install of Linux Mint, you're going to be between 1 and 1.5 gigabytes of RAM that it's using. Obviously, that'll go up as you open apps and use it and browse the internet, so on and so forth. But I just want to show you the Linux operating system. The desktop is very efficient as far as resources go. And it's in here, too, that you can see your processes just like in Windows. And you can click on that. You can end a process just like you do in Windows, so on and so forth. So it gives you this little system monitor, allows you to do a quick look at your resources. So what I want to do though, the first thing you should really do after installing any Linux distro is you need to update the system. And yes, you do update the system just like you do in Windows. So you down here in this bottom corner, you'll see a kind of a shield there. That's the update shield. And so the first time you do this, it's going to tell you welcome to the update manager. And you just hit OK, and it's going to activate that. And then we need to go ahead. Now it says the system is up to date, so we'll see as we go along. But if you do an install and you hit that, then it may show you that there are updates that need to be made. And now all this, I'm not going to go over to this local mirror, this mirroring, but Linux uses what they call mirrors to get all their files, and so you can go through a local service, or you can just leave it. So you can hit no here, or you can find them, but you don't need to change the mirror. At this point, I'm just going to hit no, because you can always, I can always go back in here and change my mirrors if I want to. So you'll do your updates in here, I'm actually surprised there isn't any updates. Usually there's some updates on a fresh install of Linux Mint. So I apologize, I skipped a step. Before you go into that update manager, which I've already done this, I've gone ahead and put in my Wi-Fi password. Now this particular unit doesn't come with Wi-Fi built into it. Some of them do, some of them don't. Or you can use an Ethernet. And so when you click on your Wi-Fi here, you can just go ahead and it'll show you all of your Wi-Fi options. And you would just click on this. So if I was to use that one, I put in my username and password, and then I'm connected. And Linux is really good at connecting. So I'm going to go ahead and connect back into the one that I was connected to. So let's go ahead and activate that. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to modify the interface a little bit, and then we're going to install some apps. Okay, so really quick, I want to show you how to change the resolution and then put in a background. You just right mouse click on here. You can say change display, and then this is where you go in and change display. And right now we're on 1080p, but you can just go ahead and put any of these in here, obviously, just like Windows. So now one of the things that in Linux Mint that you can do is you can go to settings here. You can turn on fractional scaling. They say experimental. They're still working on this, but it works fine. You can go in here. So now if I want, it'll give me more than just 100, 200%. It breaks those down. So if I do 75% here, 1080p, that's kind of in our face a little bit. So I can keep this change here. And my daughter's going to run in 2K. We have an older 2K monitor that she's using, but so that's how you change your resolutions and your scaling with Linux Mint. I'm just going to go back to 100% here just to make it a little easier, even though everything's bigger and in your face. We'll change this here, and there is a dark mode that you can also do here as well if you want. When you're at that welcome screen, it'll show you that. I'm just going to keep everything at light mode for now. But I just wanted to show you how you change your display. So now we're going to change the background. We're going to put it in that how to train your dragon background, but I just let you show it does come with some default wallpapers that you can use. First time you press on it, it's gonna refresh all of these images, but it comes with a fair amount of backgrounds already that you can choose from. If you want your own background, you go into pictures here, and then you're going to go ahead and add. And I'm going to go into the picture folder, and I've just got a folder called wallpaper. I'll add that there. So I'm going to open that up. Now I can click on wallpaper, and that's our wallpaper that she wants. And so now let's talk about the toolbar. The toolbar is very functional, customizable. So we're going to customize this a little bit. So I'm going to right mouse click on the toolbar, and I'm going to go ahead and go into panel edit mode. Now there's two modes here for editing the panel. One is panel settings. This is where you can change the size of the icons, size of the text, so on and so forth. And it's broken up into 3 zones. You got a left zone where the start menu is, center zone, and a right zone where all of your computer, like your Wi-Fi printer, your speaker battery is on there. And so you can adjust the size of everything of each zone however you want that. You can make it so that the panel auto hides or as an intelligent hide, so on and so forth. And you go in there and do that kind of stuff here. What I'm more concerned about is making it so that I can center the icons. And so if I'm going to do that, I can go into panel edit mode. You can also do that here where it says panel edit mode. And then I'm going to drag these over. And so I have found that it works better if you take this whole set it to the start menu over here first. You take the icon panel and stick it in there in the center. If it doesn't lock in, try it again and it will lock in. Now we're not going to use the start menu that's over here. We're going to use a different one. I'm going to turn this panel edit mode off. I'm going to close this. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's talk about how we add some functionality to our panel here. In other words, anything you do, anything that you want to add to the panel here that isn't an application that's in your menu, you're going to go into what they call applets. And so you'll see what this is here in a minute. So I'm going to add this Expo applet. So I just click on it, I hit add here. And what this does, because Linux has done virtual desktops for a long time, this allows me to see my virtual desktops. It sets up 4 virtual desktops automatically for you. You can delete them if you want. If you don't want any desktops, that's what you do there. So I just wanted to show you that there. So it just makes it easier to go in there. Now what we're going to do now though is we're going to add a menu, because we're going to use a different menu than the default menu. And so we're going to go find a menu, and we're going to have to go to download. So we'll go to download. The first time you're in here, it has to refresh all of the applications that are in here that you can put on the toolbar. So give it a sec to cache those out. But after you've opened this once and it's gone through this, then it won't have to do that again. So what we want to do is we're going to use this cinnamon menu, and we're going to go ahead and download this here. And once it's downloaded, we're going to go over to manage. So I'm going to manage this, and I just click on it and hit add here, and then it's going to put it over here on the left, but we can move this around. It's going to put it on the left hand side here, but we can move that. We'll just go in here and go to panel edit mode right here, and now I can move this over into the center here. And also too, what I want to do is I want to edit this start menu. So if I right mouse click on it, I can hit configure. I can go in here to appearances, and I don't want it to say menu on there, so I'm just gonna get rid of that. But I do want to use a custom icon, and they have some custom icons in here. And I'm just going to type in Win. I mean, my daughter's used to Windows, so I'm just putting this as a start, as the start menu. So we're going to go ahead and select that, and now we're done modifying that. And I'm going to turn the panel edit off. And so again, don't get confused, because there's panel editing and panel settings. So now I've got this here, and here's our new menu here. Both me and my daughter like this menu better than the default one over here. So that's how you do that. Now, what you did see is you also saw that the panel was transparent. So you go to a different place to make that panel transparent. So let's go there really quick. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead, and in the start menu, it's going to have some defaults applications right here on the bottom. And this one with the round green, this is where you go in to do apps. I'm going to leave that open because we are going to do some apps. But also your settings are this one right here, system settings, with these two dots. And you go ahead and click that. So in this is this is where you go to change there's a lot of settings in here to change. But what we're really interested in right now is extensions. So we're going to go ahead and go to extensions. And again, we're going to have to go to download, and it'll take a minute to refresh to cache those. And we're going to do this transparent panel. So we're going to go ahead and download that here, right here. Then we're going to go over to manage it, and we're going to click on it. We're going to add it. As soon as we add that, now our toolbar is now transparent. All right, so let's talk about widgets. Linux Mint does have widgets. They call them disklets, and that's this right here. We're just going to really quick add a disklet. Now, it has some defaults, ones already loaded up here that you can use, or you can go into the download just like we did the other ones and download, and then you can go through. There's a whole bunch of them. I don't know what they all do, but I just want to add a calendar real quick. So we're going to add this calendar, and it's that easy to add a disklet or a widget in Linux Mint. But let's go back into extensions, because there's some more extensions we want to add here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this burn my windows, and you'll see what that does. We're just going to download several of these right now. We're going to download this desktop cube, and we're going to download. This is what creates the wobbly windows. And then we're going to download what's called Magic Lamp Effect. And then we're going to go here to manage, and we're going to add all these, and then you'll see what they do. Okay, so let's take a look at what these applications or what these effects are doing. So burn my windows. Let's just look at the settings. The settings are all these are on the right side here. We're going to go into the setting. Now, as we open this dialog box, you're going to notice that it's going to have a rotate. You'll see how it had a distortion when it opened up there. And also too, you'll see how when I move the window, they're wobbly. So that's what the compiz Windows effect is. It's basically wobbly windows. And you can adjust how aggressive or less aggressive the wobbly is. I'm not going to go into those settings right now, but you can adjust those. So let's just adjust the settings of opening a window and closing one. So let's get rid of this apron one. We're going to put in Doom, and then we're going to put in Fire here. She doesn't have Doom, but I'm just showing you this, how easy it is to do. And so now if we close this, it's going to burn the window up when it closes. When we open this, doom is going to pour down, blah, blah, blah. So you have those effects that you can choose from if you want to do this. Again, some people aren't interested in these effects, but my daughter's 13 years old. She thinks it's really cool, so we're just going to leave it like that. And again, this window effect here is just the wobbly windows. Now this cube desktop, well, before I get to cube desktop, I'm going to take that off for a minute because I want to show you what it does and what it doesn't do. And I'll need to have it off to show you what it doesn't do. So, but the magic lamp, what this does when we minimize this is for minimizing windows. It'll minimize it like a lamp. We open it up, does the same thing. Again, it's got settings. You can change how that functions, so on and so forth. Now, as far as remember how I told you that we have virtual desktops here. So just follow my mouse to the middle of the neck of Toothless here, the dragon. And if I hit Control Alt arrow over to the right, this is going to disappear because it's going to go into the other virtual desktop. And it's going to show you right there that it was on Workspace or Virtual Desktop 2, there's 3, there's 4. Now, so let's go back into the settings, and I accidentally closed that. And let's go back to the extensions here, and the desktop cube, if we turn that, use the plus to turn that on. And now what we'll do here is we'll go to our different virtual desktops, and it's going to rotate like a cube. So that's all that is there. I'm not even saying that she's going to use this. She doesn't even know what virtual desktops are, but that's how you do that if that's on there. Okay, so let's talk about apps for a minute. So my daughter doesn't need a ton of apps, but she does need a draw package and so on and so forth. So we'll install a couple of draw packages through the store manager. Now, so Linux Mint comes with a store manager or an app store or an app manager, and you can install literally probably 95% of your apps through this app manager. But one of the things that we want to install is we want to install Google Chrome. Now, in order to do that, you need to go into Preferences here, and while you're in Preferences, so you see this Flatpaks, turn this on. Now, what this does, I don't want to go into too much on how apps work in Linux. I have another video that talks about this, but they have different ways of installing apps, and one is what's called a Flatpak. Now, the problem is with Flatpak, some people, not all the developers out there, or software developers, put their stuff as a Flatpak. Google Chrome hasn't done it yet. I don't know why. So what will happen is you'll have enthusiasts will say, I'm going to create a Flatpak for Google Chrome. So if you type in now, but you have to turn that Flatpak option on, because what it does, because the Google Chrome in here isn't developed by Google, they're going to warn you. They give you a warning that it's not developed by Google. And so you'll notice when we go in here, and here's Google Chrome right here, and it says a Flat Hub. Flat Hub is a Flatpak. It's got this little shield on here that's red. That just means it's not, this Flatpak hasn't been developed by Google, but it's been developed by somebody else. They did that because I don't want to go into the weeds too much here, but so this is one way to install Google Chrome. The other way is you go out to Google's website and download what's called a deb package, and I'm going to show you how to install deb packages. But I've used this Google Chrome Flatpak for years and no issues with it. So you just click on it, hit install, and now we'll install that, and Google Chrome will be available for us to use. See how it says unverified Flatpak, because it's not developed by Google. Google Chrome is, what he's done, he's taken Google Chrome and put it into a Flatpak. So install application. So now we go ahead and launch Google Chrome, and we have Google Chrome. That's that easy. So what we're going to do here, though, is we're going to get rid of this Firefox. We're going to unpin it from the panel. We're going to go in here, go to Internet, and here's Google Chrome. We're going to add this to the panel. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and install Inkscape. And again, you'll notice here that Inkscape comes in a Flatpak, and I'm just going to let you know right now, when you go to install apps in Linux, on a Linux desktop, if they have Flatpaks available, and Flatpaks is, all the Flatpaks are available on FlatHub. That's why it's called FlatHub. In general, you want to install the FlatHub. Google Chrome is the exception, because the reason why you want to do the Flatpak is most of the time that's the newest version of the software. So I'm just going to go in and install this just to show you how easy it is. We're going to install one more package here. There's a few more other things that I'm going to install for her, but I just wanted to show you really quick how easy it is to install applications here. Now, the one thing that it does have while that's installing, like I said, it does have LibreOffice in here, and you'll notice here's the spreadsheet program. LibreWrite is the writer. In fact, I'm just going to open this real quick just to show you. This is LibreOffice as far as LibreOffice goes, and I mean you can use this if you want, so on and so forth. I just like to use the other free Office that I talked about. I'm going to show you how to install that. And like I said, the only thing that she had in here from LibreOffice was LibreDraw. So I'm going to go ahead and you can just right mouse click on them just like in Windows, uninstall them, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to uninstall those really quick. Okay, so really quick, let me type in free Office here into the software manager. It's not found. And like I said, 95% of the apps you're going to be able to find in the app manager. Free Office just happens to not be one of those. So I'm going to show you how you can install an app from the web into Linux. Now I could go to the command line and do this, but I don't want to go to the command line and do it. But you can go ahead and search the internet just like you do on Windows and download it. So I've got Google Chrome open here, and here's free Office. And you'll notice that free Office is available on Windows, Mac, and Linux. But when I go to download, it's going to give me three options. Linux Mint is based on Debian, so you want to install or download the deb package. I've already done that, but this is the same way. If you don't use the Flatpak version of Google Chrome, then you can go ahead and search Google Chrome, go over here and download Chrome, and it'll give you the option of the Debian package or Fedora, OpenSUSE, RPM, which is Arch as well. So so if you wanted to, you could just go ahead and download that and then install it the way I'm going to show you how I'm installing free Office. So free Office, though, I'm going to go here to my downloads folder, and I'm going to go ahead and go into here, and we're going to I'm going to double click on this, and it's just like on Windows. It will take a sec to read that, but it's just going to allow me to install it from the GUI right here. So what will happen is when you double click on that, you give it a sec, and it'll come up and it says, do you want to install the package right here? So we're going to hit install, and we need to put in our password to install that, and so on and so forth. So now it's going to install that. After it's installed, then we have free Office on there. All right, once it's installed, it'll say the install is successful, and now I have free Office installed. If you were to install Google Chrome this way, it would work exactly the same way. And you'll notice I have a Google Chrome deb package here. So you can install it the same way. So now that that's done, again, I want to just explain this is not an in-depth tutorial of Linux Mint. I just wanted to show you what the things that we did for my daughter. But one thing that we do need to do, she wanted a different color icon. You notice how this is yellow. So we'll just go ahead and we're going to go and pick our colors for our folders. And the way that we do that, we can just go here. We can go back to our preferences right here, and we're going to open that up, and then we're going to go to themes here. In the themes is where we can change. This is where you can go into dark mode, and right now it's in mixed, and you can choose a color that you want. We're going to choose this color here. That's the color that she liked. But if you go into advanced settings here, you can choose even more colors for your icons. This is the one that we chose right here, and there's a whole bunch of colors that you can choose from here in Linux Mint for your icons. So it's just that easy to go ahead and do some customization in Linux Mint. And I'm not saying all Linux distros are this easy to modify the desktop. Plasma, I would say Plasma and Linux Mint are the most customizable right out of the box. But that's how you customize that. So I hope that was helpful. Our daughter is excited to start using this. Actually, she has been using it, but I just went ahead and reinstalled everything. I'll put a few more things on there for her, and that's it. So I hope that was helpful. This is TJ with TechmadeEZ. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Thanks.